पद्मश्री डॉक्टर रामेश्वर नाथ कौल बामजाई सर, मैं आपसे जानना चाहूंगी व्हाट वाज देयर गोइंग ऑन विद इन यू व्हेन यू हर्ड फर्स्ट टाइम दैट यू आर बीइंग सिलेक्टेड फॉर पद्मश्री।
ऑफ कोर्स एक्सटैटिक था कि भाई बहुत खुशी हुई, बट इट गेव ऑल्सो द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी। ईरा से मैं बिलोंग करता हूँ, उस टाइम पे बहुत ज़्यादा चीज़ें पहले से ही डिफाइंड नहीं होती थी। रिसर्च इन माई ईरा was not supported very well because the country was not equipped both from knowledge point of view and the economics was also not that great. Unfortunately, when I proposed to ICMR at that time that I can have in Banaras a center, because the whole region of Uttar Pradesh, it does not have those facilities, I didn't get support system. So genetics to me came as self-taught process.
नमस्कार, मैं हूं शिफाली चतुर्वेदी चेंज मेकर्स का ये एपिसोड लेकर। और चेंज मेकर्स में आप जैसा कि आपको पता है, हम बात करते हैं उन लोगों की जिन्होंने अपने अपने लेवल पर कहीं कहीं थोड़ा सा कुछ हिलाया, एनवलप को थोड़ा सा पुश किया, तो कहीं कुछ नया खोज के निकाला, तो कुछ जो था उसी को बेहतर तरीके से यूज किया। ऐसे ही एक चेंज मेकर मेरे साथ हैं और मुझे ये कहते हुए बहुत फक्र हो रहा है कि इस वक्त मैं बैठी हूँ पद्मश्री डॉक्टर रामेश्वर नाथ कौल बामजाई साहब के साथ। और सबसे पहले उनका स्वागत करने के साथ सर, मैं आपसे जानना चाहूंगी और बातचीत यहीं से शुरू करना चाहूंगी कि अगर पद्मश्री जब मिला तो ऑब्वियसली वो सोसाइटी के लिए और साइंस के लिए आपके कंट्रीब्यूशन के लिए मिला, बट what was there going on within you when you heard first time that you are being selected for Padma Shri?
Well, two things. It was, of course, ecstatic था कि भाई बहुत खुशी हुई कि एक recognition है गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया से. One doesn't expect basically, but it gave also the responsibility. तो मुझे लगा कि जैसे एक बोझ सा है और इसे अब निभाना और भी अच्छे से.
सर, जैसे जब ये नेम्स डिक्लेयर होते हैं, हम जो लोग मीडिया से ताल्लुक रखते हैं या जो लोग एकेडमिक्स से ताल्लुक रखते हैं, ये सब बहुत इंतजार करते हैं कि इस बार की लिस्ट में किन का नाम है और किस फील्ड से किसको मिल रहा है। जैसे साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी में आपका नाम आया, लेकिन बहुत सारे लोगों को ये खबर लगती नहीं कि ये जो नाम आया एक दिन, इसके पीछे कितने सालों की जर्नी है। तो हम ना टाइम मशीन में बैठ के सबसे पीछे चलते हैं। ये जर्नी कश्मीर से कभी शुरू हुई होगी और कई पड़ावों से होती हुई उस दिन उस जगह पहुंची होगी जब लिस्ट में आपका नाम सबको दिखा था, पीआईबी लिस्ट में और सब जगह। तो क्या माइलस्टोन्स थे इस पूरी जर्नी के?
फिर मुझे लगता है जिस ईरा से मैं बिलोंग करता हूँ, उस टाइम पे बहुत ज्यादा चीजें पहले से डिफाइंड नहीं होती थी. बच्चा जो है उसको पता ही नहीं है हवा का झोंका उसे कहाँ से कहाँ ले जा रहा है. ऑफ कोर्स क्योंकि फैमिली जो है उसका प्रेशर तो रहता ही था, पढ़ते नहीं हो, खेलते हो, ऐसा करते हो, तो एक्स्ट्रा करिकुलर एक्टिविटीज में थोड़ी बंदिश थी. तो पढ़ाई की तरफ ध्यान देना है. I did my masters from Kashmiri University in zoology.
And if I may ask कि कॉग्निटिव इयर्स कश्मीर में थे
जी,
उसके अपने चैलेंजेस थे कि उसके अपने पॉजिटिव्स थे?
दोनों मैं कहूँगा. बचपन में उस जैसे मैंने कहा उस ईरा में मुझे लगता है आदमी इतना ज्यादा डीपली चीजों के बारे में ना सोचता था ना समझता था, और आसपास का इकोसिस्टम भी ऐसा था कि जो मजबूर नहीं करता था आपको सोचने पे. आजकल जैसा इकोसिस्टम है, सोशल मीडिया है, टेलीविजन है, so kids get to see all this over there, so they're already primed. So in my era of 60s 70s we were not primed with anything, कोई ऐसा कुछ except for the radio and the songs over there and cinema hall में कभी सिनेमा वो भी फिर बंधन था that you can't go to watch a movie. So छुप के कभी अगर चले गए किसी के साथ या कोई रिश्तेदार आया उसने ले लिया, वो भी छुप छुपा के ही. So I think we were not very aware as kids and even grown-ups. I think my maturity started not even in master's level. When I came to Delhi University and I left Delhi University after a year and came to All India Institute of Medical Sciences, that was my beginning of learning.
So my next question is,
जी
जेनेटिक्स की तरफ कैसे है?
एक तो था कि I was primed by these two teachers, especially P.L. Duda, who used to teach us, even at home, he would tell, he was a fantastic teacher. और उनकी clarity of understanding about subject area was very good. So he talked about, at my master's level, about prenatal diagnosis. That means before birth you can diagnose. Now I'm talking about 71, 72.
Okay.
So it's more than 50 years. It's more than half a century. And I came, to cut the whole story short, that I came to All India Institute of Medical Sciences and I decided that I'll work on prenatal diagnosis. And world over, people were struggling to work in this area, even abroad. So I was the first one in the country to work in that area, kind of establish it. And it has gone very far now. But I take pride in saying that, that was the journey which brought me to the subject of genetics. And probably besides genetics, I became aware about the society. We formed a society which was called Society of Young Scientists. You'll be surprised to know that society stands till date, is functional at All India Institute of Medical Sciences. That means we laid the foundation of that society in a way that it still strongly exists today. The society was, they were very bright people at All India Institute of Medical Sciences. It was very difficult to get entry into AIMS and PhD program. Incidentally, my younger brother, who is 8 years younger to me, as in USA, he also then looked forward to that and then did immunology PhD over there. So this period of All India Institute of Medical Sciences from 74 to 78, 79 was the period of, it was my best period of learning. So although I'm still on the learning curve, I don't think that I saturate myself from learning.
मैं ask you कि आपको याद है कि जब आप जेनेटिक्स पढ़ रहे थे या उस पर रिसर्च कर रहे थे ऑल इंडिया इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ मेडिकल साइंसेस में, what were the three things which fascinated you about genetics, and what was the breakthrough according to you while working on prenatal diagnosis?
The fascinating thing was it's so fundamental to all sciences that it gives you a basic understanding, a comprehensive understanding. Because this is something which we get from parents, and parents have got from their parents, and what you have inherited defines you as a human being. It also gives you a perspective which is evolutionary perspective. That means how humans have come into being, how animal world in evolution has evolved stepwise, and that ladder has gone at a higher level, and then humans have evolved. So it gives you that holistic perspective. So it fascinated me.
So over the period of time, let's say from 79 to 2025, what has changed in terms of the researchers and research base in India? The vision towards the research, what all has changed?
Research in my era was not supported very well because the country was not, it was not equipped both from knowledge point of view, and the economics was also not that great. So the funding mechanisms it was a struggle to survive and to carry out research, which I saw during my journey that it improved. And I also saw that as the funding improved and I could get funds, my science also improved. So I think those planners who are there to support, or those funding agencies who are there to support, I think they need to register this point that funding is very crucial in doing good research. Though the monitoring mechanisms also should be in place. There should be strong accountability and monitoring mechanisms. But coming to another dimension, that is the quality of understanding the subject and the subject area, we do not have great teachers around. See, that's another area which has to be, I think there has to be continuing education program, which now is happening. There are, the ministry is there, which is skill related ministry. There are skill related institutions which have come up. So I have seen through this journey, a lot of changes have happened and it's advanced. I also feel that maybe these changes could have come much earlier, because we used to talk about them, we used to propose these. Whenever we used to be there in some meetings, which probably were the decision-making kind of meetings, but somehow didn't get translated at that time.
So here is my next question. Then you got an opportunity to become a VC of a university. तो क्या वहाँ एजुकेशनल प्रैक्टिसेस, इस सब के टर्म्स में आपने कुछ एक्सपेरिमेंट्स किए, कुछ चेंजेस अपने एक्सपीरियंसेस के बेसिस पे लाने की कोशिश की?
जी बिल्कुल।
वो क्या थे?
बिल्कुल। इससे पहले, before I address this question, I wanted to the leftover part of the previous one, that my contribution to my area of human genetics was in the Indian setup. One, that I started with prenatal diagnosis. Unfortunately, when I proposed to ICMR at that time that I can have in Banaras a center, because the whole region of Uttar Pradesh, it does not have those facilities, I didn't get support system of that. So I had to leave that area and then do genetics of a different kind. So look at the patients, do that, and I used to do genetic counseling and all. So this is also important, that the timely identification of the talent is extremely important. And the next step is nurturing of that talent.
Nurturing, yeah.
So identifying talent and nurturing talent. So even if we have in the country best of the systems and best of the policies, unless this is ingrained over there, that you have very objective way of assessing the talent, and then you have the objective way of nurturing that talent further. So coming to your next question, and we studied the subject area or research in the subject area in a very comprehensive way. We didn't do it in a very reductionist manner. I came from a very traditional approach to look at science. I learned and brought in. So genetics to me came as self-taught process.
Yeah.
Because there were no great teachers around. There must have been good teachers, great teachers. I didn't have access to them. So it became a self-taught kind of thing. And I saw to it that my students get the best of it. So probably I was a good teacher. That's what my students tell me. And I gave them a comprehensive conceptual understanding of the subject area. And that's how we research also. Here I would touch upon just briefly a subject that if the cell is there, we have some 40-50 trillion cells in our body. Earlier we used to say 100 trillion cells in our body. In this cell, we have the nucleus in the center. And inside the nucleus is the genetic material, which parents contribute. Outside the cell, there are a lot of organelles and there's mitochondria. So how we researched, I'm just giving the conceptual framework. We saw how mitochondria cross-talks with this genomic material, how genomic material controls this mitochondria, how cell communicates with another cell. So we had the conceptual framework of the kind, but we did not study only in reductionist manner. We wanted to understand the whole jigsaw puzzle in a very comprehensive way, the holistic way of looking at science. So that is one thing where we were different from others. And probably we were before time, which was not appreciated. And now I find that it's being talked about in that particular manner in the past decade or so. So your next question was that when I became Vice-Chancellor,
yeah.
I gave this background deliberately because during this journey, I learned all these things, and all this was self-taught, except for those mentors who were subject-related mentors. At my master,
you were very cognizant about the gaps in the...
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I was conscious of the gaps which are there. That's how I'm conscious of the gaps in the knowledge base in sciences also. And I want to see to it that how they can be filled. If today I'm retired, I would like to bring science and spirituality together and validate it. So, because I find there's a gap over there. If I used to teach Ayurvedic students along with my MBBS students in Institute of Medical Sciences, Banaras University. And I used to learn from them the Prakriti and other ojas and other things. They would tell me there is a genetics relationship with these things. So when I came to JNU, I wanted to bring these two sciences together. But unfortunately,
system doesn't allow.
System did not appreciate, did not answer. But today I'm saying the word which I gave at that time of Ayurvedomics, genomics is being used now. So I'm happy that it's happening. So probably this consciousness should prevail. The collective consciousness should be such in the country that right people are at right places. So when I got the opportunity of becoming a Vice-Chancellor and I was at the right place, so obviously my aim was that excellence should prevail in this particular university. Students who are from different states of the country, they may have a lot of issues which may not be necessarily with respect to their engineering subject which they don't understand, or philosophy subject, or biotechnology subject, or English literature. It may be something else which is their social issue. So I'm happy that what I had learned through those processes and what I had learned through Society of Young Scientists at All India Institute of Medical Sciences, in terms of, because we were more kind of differently oriented, little more radical ideas which we had at that time. All this came of help.
जब हम बात करते हैं कि हाँ हमने प्रीनेटल स्टेज पे डिजीज डायग्नोसिस की बात की, मैं अगर सिंपलेस्ट फॉर्म में आपसे पूछूं कि एक लेमैन टर्म्स में, उससे लेमैन की डिजीज डायग्नोसिस पे क्या क्या और कहाँ असर पड़ा?
मेरे समय में people used thought that it could be used only for sexing purposes. So gender discrimination, killing the female baby, aborting the female. We were at that time struggling to diagnose diseases. Today, you can correct now. The knowledge base has increased so much that you can even go and you can correct the fetus for certain defects. It may be a limited set of defects. Suppose if there is a cardiac valvular defect, if there is a possibility of correcting it, so you may be able to approach and correct it at that point in time. And you're not allowing the baby who has been diagnosed that will survive, but will survive with certain
lifelong ailments.
Yeah, the lifelong ailments. Today, we have tools and we have the knowledge base to correct them at molecular level. So it's like the way you are cutting with the scissor and you're shaping your cloth and then designing it. So you can do that kind of a design. You can, those mutant, if there's a single mutation, you can correct it. That's called gene editing, CRISPR-Cas mechanisms. Yeah. So you can use gene editing mechanism and you can correct it. You may not do it for everything because knowledge base is still not available for all such diseases. And for complex diseases like diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, cancer, you do not know everything, all the genes. So whatever you know, you can only base your approach to correction on the basis of that. But as more and more is coming, and more is also getting developed in terms of these, and there are other ways, not only gene editing, immunotherapies are there, gene therapies are there. So at biochemical level, enzyme changes, you can make, so they are there. What we used to think in our times, half a century back, that you cannot do anything. You counsel a patient and you feel little helpless in telling anything to the patient for correction. But today, at least to some extent, we have categories of these diseases. That some categories you can give one kind of advice, counseling. In another set of disease, you may see an intervention which is a simple intervention. In another set of diseases, you may go to these high-end diagnosis at molecular level, genome level, or still finer level, and then look for ways and means of looking into the disease.
Okay. So my next question is, whenever you are out of your labs and seminars and conferences, अगर मैं पूछूं डॉक्टर बामजाई क्या करना पसंद करते हैं, हॉबीज क्या हैं, खाली टाइम में क्या करना चाहते हैं, कर पाते हैं या नहीं कर पाते हैं, वो एक अलग बात है कि उतना वक्त मिलता है कि नहीं, लेकिन अगर आपसे कहें कि ये 2 घंटे सिर्फ आपके हैं तो आप क्या करना चाहते हैं?
I feel mentoring is something which I love to do. And so whether they are teachers, young teachers, or they are students, so that is one passion I have of mentoring. And another is helping out people if they want guidance in terms of their careers, or they want guidance in terms of choosing a subject area. And third, which is my passion, which I had right from my younger days, because I'm spiritually kind of oriented. So I would like to bring evidence-based research which could be done in the areas where, which is a very thin line between science and spirituality, because I feel these domains may be misunderstood. Scientists may think that, well, spirituality is a totally different domain and you need not go into that. So we are equipped with, nature in evolution has equipped us with huge amount of potential and resilience.
So when you say evidence-based work and research, so will it be some prototype project, or what was like?
Well, there can be 2-3 ways. First thing is that I have to educate myself. I'm trying to recently a responsibility has come on my shoulders. It's called Kashmiri Education, Culture, Science and Society, where I'm the chairman of their joint managing committee, and this Kashmir Education, Culture and Science Society, they have certain activities. I thought that they should see beyond this. They used to publish long back certain books in certain areas, but then if a person is doing Shaivism, Kashmir Shaivism, for example, the person would be only focusing on Shaivism aspects and going around Shaivism philosophy. First, it's too complex to understand, and people have not made it simple so that general public understands it. This is one. That is one gap. Second is, I think we have become scientifically today in physics, you have a lot of mystical, which has been there in physics from decades back. That feeling is there, that there is certain aspects which we don't understand in physics. And the quantum physics today is taking such a leap. And in terms of the energy, the wave, how it functions, and the philosophy we have in Shaivism or any Hindu philosophy, we believe in similar sort of things. So you see, you need now people who are knowledgeable in, say, quantum physics and who are knowledgeable in Shaivism, and both have interests, and they crosstalk with each other to blend and come out with the scientific explanations for such things.
So the concept is to discover the commonality and the differences,
application of the knowledge base which can easily be applied, one can see through that, oh, it's possible there also, because the explanation they are giving in quantum physics, if you know about spirituality and if you know about Kundalini, Jagriti, if you know this, and if the anatomically, even if you don't have chakras defined and maybe they are plexus which are there at these levels. So unless until you know both these worlds, you can't meet.
So maybe you are destined to do this kind of work because as per our conversation, you were previously also doing something around Ayurveda.
That's right. So fortunately for me, my journey has been such where I have been exposed to a very multidimensional world, because the world, the ground realities are diverse.
So you were telling us about the Kashmir Education and Culture Society. I have a few Kashmiri friends, and everyone has a common problem or challenge that their next generation is not able to converse in Kashmiri. So, are there any plans to address such kind of challenge?
Sure. Well, I believe that since we have left, most of us have left Kashmir, and such exodus has happened. People say the seventh time it has happened. I think we are very, one way we are fortunate, another way we are very unfortunate. We are fortunate because it has given us an opportunity to show our resilience, and the kids are doing very well. The parents have worked very hard, and today we are all over the world as Kashmiri Pandit community. The bad thing is that we have lost our ethnic identity, we have lost our cultural identity, and because of this we have lost our homes, ancestry which we belong to. And since land and language are two ingredients which define identity of any ethnic group, my own kids who used to laugh at when we would talk in Kashmiri, and now they are abroad or they're here and there, so they want to learn Kashmiri. So there is a revival. Probably it has to be sustained, and people have to see to it that it's supported and sustained, so that future generation learns the language.
So you have always worked on gaps. Yeah. Research is based on identifying the gaps and
very true.
Finding the solutions. So now that you have superannuated, although you are super busy, when you look back, कुछ लगता है कि यहाँ कुछ छूट गया, ये करना बाकी है, वो क्या है जो गैप्स अभी भी हैं जो आपको अभी फिल इन करना है?
गैप्स बहुत सारे हैं. I think I'm good at resolving conflicts also.
Okay.
So I think I find the world which is conflict ridden. I find that our societies are conflict ridden.
Yeah, more than half of the world is conflict zone now.
That's true. That's true. And somehow I feel, and for this I would like to quote an episode when I was the Vice-Chancellor in 2010, there was a lot of turmoil in Kashmir. And at that time I had given to because the government had sent the delegation with the then Home Minister, and there was a huge opposition was also there, members were there. It was a huge gathering, and they had even one-to-one kind of a talk. I had given them in writing certain things. I would not highlight everything of that. I don't know where it would be, that paper, whether somebody read it also or they went through that. I had given them my perspective of the picture, how it can be. I will just pick up on one of them or maybe two of them. That why don't you have, now this is the story which is, this is 25, it's more than 15 years old story. That why don't you make mohalla committees and because in a gathering of thousands of people, all masses are not having the same feeling. Masses are just following. It's only some selected ones who are leading that. Now, these select ones, if they have lost their track, the surveillance has to be such that they are notified, they are recognized, and you tackle them, rather than tackling the whole mob of thousands of people. And then the feeling is all against, because you're generating that by targeting innocence. The innocents also have to be tackled and dealt with separately by creating these committees of seniors and juniors and talking to them. So I have always been, I'm not saying it so clearly, just because I think things have changed. Today, maybe this philosophy will not work. I always believed a Kashmiri, anyone who is a Kashmiri, is a very emotional person. A hug and a sorry would probably resolve the issue. So maybe if it was done 20 years back, 25 years back, and they would have said sorry, and this particular things would have been resolved. Today it's complex. Today it's very complicated.
So we are talking about Kashmir and conflict zone and exodus. So that after that forceful exodus, बहुत कुछ बदला.
जी.
आपने खुद ने बताया कि कैसे कल्चर, जगह, मौसम सब कुछ बदला.
जी.
तो कहते हैं कि कश्मीर में रहने वाले बहुत सारे लोगों से मेरी बात हुई कि तब हम बीमार नहीं पड़ते थे, अब बहुत सारी बीमारियां हैं. तो क्या इस सब का असर जेनेटिक्स पे भी हुआ? क्या खान पान के अंतर से कुछ बदलता है? ये एक पजल है, अगर मैं कहूँ तो इस पजल को सॉल्व आप ही कर सकते हैं कि क्या अंतर पड़ता है खान पान से, रहन सहन से.
जी. ऐसा है, जो वहां से निकलने के बाद कश्मीरी कम्युनिटी सफर कर रही है, और हेल्थ के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से they are suffering from these complex diseases such as type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, cancer. ये सब diseases, life obesity, ये सब diseases जो हैं, ये lifestyle diseases की categories में इनको कहा जाता है. अब lifestyle जो है, obviously dietary habits, sedentary habits, ये सब sleeping, weather changes, all this together, it becomes an ensemble which impacts the health status. And that's what has happened. So obviously it's a long time. 3 decades, 2 decades is a reasonably long time. And within that, whatever generation grew up and the older generation got exposed to it. So these lifestyle changes have definitely impacted and contributed to the genetics does not change. The genetic background does not change. There can be fresh changes, mutations there, but one has to establish them scientifically. So even if it has not happened, the mutation has not happened, changes have not happened, but there is epigenetic changes. The epigenetic modulation through lifestyle exposures. जैसे आपने कहा खान पान, जैसे उनका रहन सहन, मौसम, then the stress through this, वो इतनी गर्मी है जिसमें जिंदगी भर कोई रहा नहीं है और इतनी गर्मी में रह रहा है, और फिर वो जो टेंशन है, पीछे आपने सब छोड़ दिया, आपके बच्चे पढ़ रहे हैं, आप जबरदस्त, तो वो स्ट्रेस, that stress by itself is one of the major causes of causing this disease. So these are, we call them now, categorize them as epigenetic modulation of the genetic material.
Okay.
So today, now it's a proven fact that such epigenetic changes, modulations of gene expressions does happen, which is differential. So definitely because of these reasons, which probably if researched properly, appropriately, it will establish that there is this relationship, which is due to which diseases have increased.
So there are a lot many things to research and there are a lot many things to implement. and fill in the gaps. So thank you so much, Dr. Bamezai.
So nice of you.
It was such an interesting conversation to understand what is all happening in science and technology. And Padma Shri Dr. Rameshwar Nath Koul Bamezai आज के चेंज मेकर, आज के हमारे सीरीज के अंक के चेंज मेकर, न्यूज ट्रस्ट के लिए आज इतना ही। अगली बार एक नई शख्सियत के साथ फिर मुलाकात होगी। तब तक के लिए नमस्कार।